Welcome back to the No Idea podcast. We just wanted to talk a little bit about a game that made us fall in love with the NFL, what kind of got us into sports talk, and a game that's kind of near and dear to our hearts. So this is going to be our first episode of our new series, and we're just going to be going through some rewatchable games, maybe even some music reviews. This week we're going to start by talking about Super Bowl XLII, undefeated Patriots, 17-0 or 18-0, playing against the Giants, 10-6 wild card team, making the Super Bowl.
We were young watching this for the first time and being conscious, and aware of what's going on. And this was a crazy game. Kind of sent ripples throughout the league for years to come, as we'll talk about. But yeah, just to set the tone, 2007, this era, this is going to be our first topic. Just want to get into what was happening during that time, news, music, any advancements in technology.
I was watching the broadcast, the original broadcast. Some of the things that stood out to me were the MacBook Air. This was the first MacBook Air that came out. MySpace is still popular at the time. American Idol is huge. Jordan Sparks was the national anthem singer for this game, and she was an American Idol winner. Gatorade G2 had just launched, and then Iron Man. Iron Man was going to be coming out a couple months later. The Motorola headsets that the team was wearing, the big Motorola logo on the speaker. Mike Carey, he was the lead ref for this game, the first black referee to ever ref a Super Bowl too.
I just was looking at the Billboard Top 100. At the top is Beyonce, Umbrella, but there were so many club hits. We also mentioned market crash was happening. We were in a crisis. But Crank That, Soulja Boy, We Fly High, Jim Jones, Kanye West Graduation came out that year, and I think that was probably the biggest moment for music. At that time, it was Kanye and Jay-Z. Crazy to think that they made the Watch the Throne album a few years later. Covering this game in this era makes us appreciate growing up in that time. You mentioned one of the Super Bowl commercials, advertising GPS, and now it's so common. I was we were looking at maps before that,
right.
MapQuest and stuff. So it's just crazy how quickly time changed. Look at where we're at now, and that was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah. So from there we can kind of get into the stakes going into the game. Like I said, the Patriots were trying to go 19-0, the first team to ever go undefeated since the 72 Dolphins. They had been the most dominant offense at that point. They had just got Randy Moss in a trade, and Brady and Moss were breaking records. Giants were really underdogs. The betting odds, Patriots were 12-point favorites over the Giants. So, they obviously did not think this was going to be even a close game. Brady was actually dealing with an ankle injury going in, so they were talking about that a little bit. And then Plaxico also had a high ankle sprain. We had some injuries going into this game.
And then also, Eli, as a quarterback, hasn't really cemented himself at the top. And this is kind of his moment. And also head coach Tom Coughlin, too. The year prior, he had to ask upper management for his job. And then they go on this run to go to the playoffs and have this run into the Super Bowl, and the stage is set.
Going in, some matchups to watch I had written down where it was Brady versus the pass rush. The Giants D-line was their main driving force of that team. They were really a run-heavy, defensive-minded team. And then it was going to be how was the Giants O-line going to handle the Patriots linebackers, because the Patriots linebackers are straight Hall of Famers. We got Mike Vrabel, Junior Seau, and Teddy Bruschi. People were calling them old at the time, but they were still Hall of Fame level at that time going in. So those were just some things to look at going into the game. So the game, early on, it was very low scoring. The Giants started out running 5 or 6 runs straight. Brandon Jacobs was bulldozing people. Patriots got the ball down 3-0. The Giants scored first drive of the game. Patriots, they marched down the field, and they scored with a run play, Lawrence Maroney. After that, it was just kind of them battling it out on defense.
After the Maroney touchdown, they traded takeaways. Eli threw a pick. And then Justin Tuck had a forced fumble on Brady. So just wanted to highlight Justin Tuck. He had 2 sacks in the first half, 5 tackles, 1 assist. That was kind of how the Giants were staying in the game, kind of keeping it controlled. I did want to mention, like, the Giants O-line popped off on tape. Like, you could really see it, like, from the first snap. You could tell they had chemistry. The first half, I think, it was really significant, like, defense, like you said, which is interesting. Like, the Patriots came in the #1 offense
Yeah.
in the league, so that was kind of huge just to keep the game within reach.
There was a couple things that I also remember in that first half. They had mentioned it was Wes Welker's first year with the Patriots, and I thought that was pretty crazy because growing up, it was kind of like you knew Wes Welker as a Patriot. So obviously, this is like kind of the beginning of my consciousness in football and NFL. I guess that kind of plays into why this game means so much to me. Then that second half, kind of more the same starting out, trading blows. Steve Smith was huge for the Giants. I mean, this dude was catching third downs left and right. He was kind of their clutch receiver, I would say. Seemed like a go-to guy, and this was his rookie year. He's out of USC, so, fight on. The third quarter was kind of more the same. Trading blows, not really anybody scoring.
In that third quarter, like, you can see Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator for the Giants, like, dialing up blitzes to like rush Brady. But on the other side of the ball, like, Patriots were getting a lot of third downs with Welker and keeping drives alive that way. The Giants, Kevin Boss, tight end, replacing Jeremy Shockey, who was out for the season, like, had a big play to start the fourth quarter, and I feel like that was the momentum that the offense needed. The O-line started going crazy. Like, I don't know if it was fatigue on the other side of the ball. They were moving guys.
Yeah.
And, Tyree actually scored the first touchdown for the Giants.
The momentum was kind of back and forth in this game. Like you said, the Giants felt like they was getting a little bit of momentum, and then the Patriots would go out there and would make like a short drive, and it would kind of feel like they would get something going, and then the Giants would just get a sack or pin the Patriots back, and it was kind of just back and forth. Like you said, Wes Welker did have a couple good plays in that third quarter.
This was a game of inches, and it was a tight game. Some people would call this a boring game, defensive game. I just want to mention, like, these players are hitting each other. The rules have changed so much nowadays. You cannot lead with the helmet. They are doing that. And you see it on the tape. And Wes Welker, he's a slot receiver, like, smaller than most, and like, he knew how to not get hit. Like, he would like kind of sneak into the soft spot, find grass, get down. But it was like warfare out there. People were flying. But yeah, we're down to 2 minutes 42 left. Moss gets an easy one-on-one fade touchdown. So now it's 10-14 Pats. Mm-hmm. They're up. At the time, Plaxico Burress was 1 for 6. We're down to 2 minutes. 3rd and 10, 1:59 left. Giants possession.
It started out with a pass to Monty Toomer, and it's like, okay, Giants got something. And then it's 2 quick incompletions, and it's 3rd and 10, and we're like, okay, it doesn't look like much is going to happen right now. Then Eli delivers like a little short comeback pass to, I think it was Toomer. Came back and caught it and made it 4th and 1. So it's 4th and 1 with 1:40 to go. They come back and they come out in I formation. Another thing you really don't see nowadays, like coming out in I formation, the box is stacked. They give it to Brandon Jacobs, and Brandon Jacobs looks like he gets stopped in his track on the line of scrimmage and somehow falls forward a whole yard and gets the 4th down conversion.
And then Eli almost throws a pick. It's 3rd and 5 with 1:15 left. And, bro, the craziest play of the decade happens. I think, bro, you would see quarterbacks nowadays literally fall on just, like, maybe getting hit on the shoulder. Oh, let me just get down. I don't know, but he was getting tugged on his jersey and everything. Then delivers a crazy pass, and Tyree catches it on the helmet. Iconic photo moment in history.
Right.
To keep them in the game, huge conversion.
I was watching a thing that Eli and Peyton were rewatching the play together. I guess they were saying that all week in practice, David Tyree was playing horribly, was dropping everything.
Do you remember watching that live as a kid?
Yeah. Nobody could believe that he caught that ball.
Insane. You could feel the game, The stakes were high. Like, this is high intensity right now. What's even crazier is, like, they end up at 3rd and 11 right after that.
Yeah, right. So after the Tyree catch, 59 seconds to go, Eli gets sacked on first down, and they have to burn their last timeout. And Troy Aikman's talking crap. He was like, if Eli had just stepped up in the pocket at that time, he had room to run, but he's just kind of sitting back there lackadaisical. And Eli throws a pass, and it bounces right through, I think, Ellis Hobbs. Bounces right off his hands into David Tyree's hands. And David Tyree almost catches another amazing catch. I think that just goes to show like you said, the inches that this game was. He literally almost came down with it and would have put him first down, probably like the 15-yard line if he catches that ball. But he didn't, and it's 3rd and 11 with 45 seconds to go. And again, they go right to Steve Smith on a quick out, and
rookie.
Eli hits him, and he catches it at like what would have been like 4th and 1, but he was able to kind of maneuver his way into the first down, and he got out of bounds with 39 seconds left. And then that was kind of all she wrote. The next play after that, Plaxico touchdown right in the corner of the end zone, and that was the game. 30 seconds left, but it was crazy. The stakes, the fact that the Giants looked like they were out twice. They were third down twice with no timeouts, and he throws that.
Like, that was a complete 2-minute drill that we saw. I don't know how much time was left on the clock.
29 seconds.
I've seen games actually with 29 seconds, like the other team scored.
Right, the Chiefs.
Yeah, that was insane. Right after, I'm just thinking Patriots season kind of tarnished. They showed Belichick right after the game. He's sick. Like, we watched a little bit of the post game, and they're asking him questions immediately. Like, this was set up for the Patriots to win. Yeah. Everybody had them. What did you say they were a 12-point favorite?
12-point favorites.
That's crazy.
That can kind of lead us into our legacy talk. So, legacy-wise, we're kind of talking a bit about this. I have a few mentions for whose peak this could have been. First, we got Randy, probably one of the best years of his career, most touchdowns of his career, second most yards in his career in a season. Farthest he went at that point in his career. He was prime candidate. I also thought, the Manning name, this could be a possible peak for them. Peyton won the Super Bowl in 06-07 season, and Eli wins the next season after that. And then even Asante Samuel, too. He was balling out this game.
Who benefited the most from the Super Bowl? For me, I would say Steve Spagnuolo. He did coach one more season with the Giants, but then ended up getting a head coaching role and progressed his career and kind of helped shape the game. Like, we were talking about how that Giants pass rush kind of was a blueprint for the next 2 decades. Like, we see it now today for like championship caliber defense. That really was what won the Giants' championship. And then who else won? I guess Eli kind of finally with a ring cemented himself as an elite QB. And it was crazy how you did mention the Manning name. At this time, they were both on a run, and I think it is crazy that they never matched up against each other. So we'll never know who really is the better brother.
Yeah. Justin Tuck, he had 10 sacks. He wasn't even the full-time starter. He did play in all the games for the Giants. This was his coming out season, and then the year after, he takes another step forward. He has a career high 12 sacks in that 2008 season, becomes a Pro Bowler for the first time and a full-time starter. I would say he probably benefited from this. If we had to pick one, I would probably say Eli, just because, this is his first ring.
Tom Coughlin too,
yeah,
and getting the ring.
Right.
Bro was old at the time.
Yeah, he was 61, I think. And yeah, like you said, he was kind of on the warm seat going in, not the hot seat, but if they had another mid-season, he probably wouldn't have made it to the following year. So, obviously, like we said, Randy never got his ring after this. As far as, legacy talk, Patriots never become the dynasty. They were still a dynasty after this. Sorry to tell you guys, this is probably the reason why Tom Brady ends up winning 6 Super Bowls, because, he couldn't get that perfect season. I would assume this probably made him hungrier for more, but they don't get the perfect season. Asante Samuel leaves in free agency after this, so it's kind of downhill for a little bit for the Patriots. I mean, they had a top 10 pick in the draft after this, but they don't win another Super Bowl until 2015 Seahawks. So, I mean, yeah, it was downhill for them for a little bit. Last are, rewatchables awards. What aged the best for me? Justin Tuck probably aged the best. Beginning of his prime, started balling out after this. Wes Welker on the Patriots aged the best. And then Tom Brady. And this was kind of his wake-up call to get better. This is what put him on his Mamba mentality or TB12 mentality.
I'd say this game, we can really look back and say we still use things today, like defensive schemes, how the game is developed. Like, this is still relevant today. It was enjoyable to watch. It being a defensive game, usually we don't want to watch that, especially in this era. Usually a defensive game means sloppy play, but this was not sloppy at all. These were two high-caliber teams going at it, and this is what you get. I really enjoyed going back and watching this. I think just highlighting that era, bro. Like you talked about the graphics on the broadcast, the jerseys, the commercials.
I had a whole list of the commercials that they had played. They had a MySpace commercial. That might be aged the worst, but it was, if you had missed any of the ads, you could go on MySpace and watch all the ads from the Super Bowl that day. It was a good time period for sure. And then aged the worst, I had Brandon Jacobs' running style. He might have CTE right now. Hopefully he doesn't, but he just would put his head down and deliver some hits.
I don't even know because you can't really say Randy. He ended up going back to the Super Bowl. Didn't end up winning, but Randy stayed productive throughout his career, regardless of if he peaked this season or not. Aged the worst.
The GPS commercials aged the worst too. Sobe, the drink Sobe.
Sobe. Those used to be delicious.
How about the "you had to be there" moment?
You had to be there? Oh, dude. There was one point in the third quarter. I'm so glad I remember. Strahan gets a sack and makes a statement. And I just remember being a kid watching that live, like him getting a sack on Brady and flexing on TV. That was iconic in my head. Like, you think of defensive players like Ray Lewis at the time, like that type of grit. That was kind of personified in that moment. That was kind of like you had to be there. You had to be watching that live to feel that. Same thing with like this game. It made you believe anything was possible. This was a David Goliath matchup. And like after seeing that Tyreek catch, knowing the stakes going in, it was just a crazy moment in time. But like looking back, watching this compared to now, it feels like maybe we're just older, but the allure of the game is kind of gone. When I was a kid, it felt so much bigger than it. This is something that, like, we're watching these teams lay it out on the line every play. Nowadays, it doesn't really feel like that.
Yeah. The Super Bowl graphics made it feel humongous. You got the pregame intros. The Giants are coming out to "Stronger" by Kanye West. I was playing football at that time, and I was listening to that song to get hyped for my games. So, like, seeing that on TV, it's like, dang, they're hyped. Because I know I would be. They're building up the hype before the game. There was commercials of all these former Super Bowl winners talking about, like, what the game means. Like you said, the lore. I don't know if it was just because we were young, but it felt like bigger than anything that I had ever seen at that time. Getting back to the "you had to be there" moment, the helmet catch is probably the most iconic. You had to be there. Definitely remember where I was for that one. How about role player of the game?
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith, for sure, yes.
Steve Smith was keeping drives alive. He was keeping the dream alive. So many third downs you can count. And like in the fourth quarter, crucial. Like, this is what it takes.
Right.
And he was a rookie this season, which is crazy to me. Like, playing with so much poise, you got to give it to him.
He did play in some championship games for USC, though.
Yeah. And then also, we wanted to highlight like MVP of the game other than Eli. I think we unanimously wanted to give that to Justin Tuck.
Right.
Yeah, kind of a game breaker in that first half. I think if he didn't do that in the first half and maybe Patriots scored once more, like, we're not looking at the score at the end of the game. This Giants offense didn't get going until like 10 minutes into the fourth. You got to give it up to him. Really analyzing this game, seeing what happened, like him, and maybe even you got to give it up to Giants O-line too.
Dude, Brandon Jacobs on the blitz pickups was nuts, absolutely nuts.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. There's a few like still shots of Brewski getting smacked off pass pro. Like,
yeah. So I mean, that's all we got for today. Anything else that you wanted to say before we sign off?
we're gonna do more games like this, and like we really do have to go back and appreciate this era because I feel like it's getting so far from the core essence of the game. And this is when it was still intact. It feels like we gotta give this generation its flowers. Stay tuned for these upcoming episodes. I'm excited to keep creating these and give us some feedback. Maybe what y'all would want to see. Do y'all remember watching this game
Yeah, let us know what game
growing
y'all
up?
want to see us cover too. Yeah, if you guys got a game in mind too, we'll definitely take that into consideration. But all right, thank
But
you guys for watching the podcast.